Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is a very fun, exciting video. We are going to do a try on haul. If you saw my makeup wish list video from last week, I mentioned that I have not been to Sephora or Ulta in over a month. It's actually been around 6 weeks. And I went and got some things to try. I did not go crazy, so I was very proud of myself, but I do have some fun things to share with you and I cannot wait. It's been a while since we've just tried some new products and I love it. It's so much fun, so I cannot wait. If you're new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty content here on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I hope you'll subscribe, stick around, and let's just get started. I cannot wait. Okay, I am so excited. I did not get a new primer or anything like that, so we're just gonna go right into foundation. I don't have a new color corrector either, so we're just gonna go into foundation. And this was actually not on my wish list, the foundation that I ended up buying. This was not on my radar really at all, but I was in store and I swatched it and I liked it. So I did end up getting the new Makeup Forever HD Skin Hydra Glow Foundation. I mentioned in my wish list video, I was thinking about the new Kosas BB Burst. I looked at that in store. I decided against that. It felt okay when I swatched it. I think I had a decent shade match in that, but I don't know. I keep seeing really not the best things about it. So I decided to skip that. I also considered the Laura Mercier foundation. I looked at that in store. I do think I have a pretty good match in that, but I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of how it felt on my skin when I was testing it, so I decided against that. And then I also was considering the Prada foundation, but that is online only, so I would have to order that anyway. I will try that at some point, but I knew this had launched, but I think this is brand new. I don't think this has been out for very long at all. And I saw the display and I found a shade that I think is going to be a good match, I think. So let's try it. This is what it looks like. This is the same, pretty much the same packaging as the original HD foundation, just with the white cap instead of the nude cap. If you've been watching my videos for a while, I have mentioned several times I'm not a huge fan of the HD foundation, the original version. So that made me kind of question whether I should try this or not, but I really liked how it felt on the back of my hand and I decided we would try it. So let's do it. This is supposed to be a medium coverage, natural, slightly radiant finish, very hydrating, and I got the shade 1 in 06 in this, and I hope it's going to be a good shade match. In the store, it looked like it was, but you know how the lighting goes in Sephora. So yeah, it's pretty liquidy. So it looks like this. Something that I did notice when I was looking at the shades is they don't have all the shades in this formula that they do in the original HD formula. I don't know why, but they do skip some of the shades, so I don't know. I'm not sure why they did that, but they did. I did like a while ago at the beginning of my YouTube channel, you may remember, I loved the Reboot foundation from Makeup Forever. And I think that has been discontinued, sadly. I haven't seen it in store lately, and I know a few times I was in Sephora in the last like 6 months or so. They did have it, but it was on sale. So I am assuming this is replacing that, but I did love that foundation. It's blending in very, very easily. I think I was right. This is a pretty good shade match. Really good, actually, from what I'm seeing. But usually when I test foundations, on the back of my hand. I can kind of tell based on a swatch usually if I'm gonna like it or not. And this one was one of those that as soon as I swatched it, number one, I thought the shade was good, but I could just tell it felt very hydrating, but not necessarily a super luminous or glowy. It just felt like it had a lot of hydration to it. So I'm excited to test this out. Okay, so there is that little bit applied. Definitely not a ton of coverage right now, but wow, this is a spot on shade match, you guys. I had a feeling that it was when I saw it in store, because as soon as I swatched it on my hand, my first thought was, oh, I think that might be a good shade. It does have a smell. It's kind of a floral smell, but it's not super intense, but it's definitely there. And this was one pump of foundation. Are you seeing this shade match? Number one. 10 out of 10. This looks absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It looks slightly radiant, but not super glowy. It looks very hydrated, very healthy. I really felt like I was gonna love this when I saw it in store. And I think I was right. Okay, this I would say is like a light medium, verging into medium, but I want to add just a little bit more. I'm not going to do a ton, just to see if it's buildable at all, so I'm literally taking like that much. Oh, this feels so nice. The texture on this, it is so... trying to think of something it reminds me of. It kind of reminds me of the Glossier foundation in terms of how it looks on my skin, but this is more of a fluid formula. The Glossier is a little bit thicker when you pump it out. It looks similar once you blend it out, but I would say it definitely a bit of a thicker formula than this one, but the look on the skin is similar. But I do think this one is a better shade match for me. So I added just a little bit. I'm not going to add a ton. And I would say it's a lighter medium coverage right now. But wow, this looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, I don't see anything right now that I don't like. It's definitely more on the hydrating, slightly luminous side, but not super glowy. It has some radiance to it, but I wouldn't say it's like a dewy, glowy look at this point. And I will say in this area right here, it definitely doesn't look blurring. This type of formula typically does not, but it's not really emphasizing anything on my skin either. Also, my skin type, if you're new to my channel, is normal. I do have sensitive skin, but I don't really lean oily or dry. Maybe in the summertime, I have a slightly oilier T-zone, and then in the winter, I mean, I guess I could get a little bit dry, but I tend to hydrate my skin really well. So I don't find that I lean really oily or dry. I would say my skin is pretty normal. Sensitive. I'm a little bit sensitive to fragrance, but I will also say that the fragrance that is in this foundation, I didn't notice it at all when I applied it. So it's subtle and it goes away. Like I can't smell anything right now. So that is kind of my initial assessment of this, but so far I think this is really promising. All right, let's move into concealer, and the concealer that I got is actually not the one that I thought I was gonna get. If you watch my wish list, I mentioned I was thinking about the Laura Mercier concealer, the Kosas concealer in one of the newer shades, and then the new Fenty concealer. I was leaning towards Fenty, but I actually ended up going with the Laura Mercier concealer. This is the Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Concealer. I looked at the Fenty shades and I don't think I have a great shade match in that concealer, which is crazy because I think there's almost 50 shades, maybe 40 shades of that. The lighter shades, I was thinking about 150 in, and then I think 160 in. Those were really light, and I don't love a light under eye. That's not my thing. I do not like that at all. But when I went up a little bit, they got really, really pink. And then if I went up to the next neutral shade after 160, I think it was 225, and that one was a little bit dark. So I don't know, I could not find a good shade. I was thinking about just going with one of the darkest light shades, which I think are like 185C, but that one was so pink. I don't know, I couldn't pick a shade. I don't think I have a really great match in that one. So I ended up going with the Laura Mercier one because I think this shade match should be pretty good, hopefully. But I gotta put some color corrector under my eyes because they're distracting me. And then we'll go in with the concealer. I am just applying the Exa concealer or color corrector in pink and peach and mixing them together. All right, let's go into the concealer. The shade that I got was 1 in 1. And I think this should be a good match. I really like the packaging on this concealer a lot. I have tried the Laura Mercier concealer in the past. I think it's the Flawless Fusion concealer, maybe. I've tried that before, and I liked that concealer, but I want to say I didn't have a great shade match in that concealer either. So this is shade 1 in 1. And I will say this concealer feels really nice. The texture feels really nice. It feels similar to the Fenty concealer. And the Fenty concealer, I did think the formula felt really nice on it. I don't know. I didn't find a shade that I felt like I would really love. So I went with this one. So we'll do one eye at a time. So I'm gonna do this and this. We might do just concealer on this side. I don't know, maybe not, because I really want to wear these today like I would normally wear them, and I wouldn't skip corrector on a normal day. Feels really thin, lightweight. Is this a serum concealer? Does this say serum? Doesn't say it's a serum concealer. It kind of feels like a serum texture though. I am gonna blend this in with my Sigma F03. The consistency of this concealer actually kind of reminds me of the foundation, the new one that we just applied. So there is the concealer blended out. Definitely looks very glowy right now, so we'll see if it kind of sets down at all. Looks nice. Definitely not a ton of coverage. I definitely feel like I can see some of my darkness still peeking through even with that corrector underneath. But it did blend out really nicely under my eyes. I don't think this is going to be one that I would want no corrector underneath. So we're going to do corrector on both eyes. Okay. Go in with the concealer on the other eye and blending this in with the same brush. I really love the consistency of this concealer. It is very, very thin and lightweight. It definitely does remind me of the foundation, which is kind of interesting. The texture is very similar. All right, so here it is blended out under both eyes. I do think it has set down on this side, the other side, a little bit, so it doesn't look as hydrating, dewy, but it definitely still has some glow to it. Definitely has not set down completely. It's definitely not a matte finish. Definitely very hydrating. But it looks nice under my eyes, I have to say. I do like it. I think it pairs well with that foundation because, like I said, they're similar. I want to add a little bit of this concealer on my face just to see how it matches, because I think this should be a decent shade match. So I'm going to add just a little bit right here. And then I don't really need a ton more coverage, but we'll just add a little bit right here. I'm going to blend that in with the same brush. Okay, I did not have a new bronzer or a new powder, so I just applied some of my Fenty cream bronzer, and then I added a little bit of powder in the T-zone, so here, right here, and then on my chin. And now I have a new blush, and this was not on the wish list either. This was an impulse purchase, but I think it was a good one. So I got one of these. These are the new Sephora collection blushes. These are the colorful matte blushes, and this one is in the shade Self-Made. So it looks like this, and I walked by the Sephora collection area and I saw this color, I saw the tester open, and I don't know, I could just tell by looking at the tester and the color in the pan that this is the kind of shade that I really love. It's like a light pink nude, and I don't know, I just really wanted to try it. So that is the shade Self-Made right there. They recently reformulated these and repackaged them. So they have new blushes, new contours, I think, and new highlighters. So this is a new formula. I have tried the old Sephora blushes, but not this one. So there's a lot of kick up in the pan when I put my brush in. The color kind of reminded me of Chai from Laura Mercier, but I actually swatched this next to Chai when I was in Sephora, and they are very similar. This one's a little bit more pinky. Chai is a little bit more nude, a little bit peachy, just a little bit, but the colors are definitely very similar. They're both matte blushes also, but I just wanted to try this formula, and I don't know. I loved the color. Yeah, it's like a very good kind of neutral pink. There is a lot of kick up on the pan though. I don't love that, but it seems to be applying pretty well. Yeah, it's just a nice pink nude blush color, but I like it. Let me look up close. Yeah, it looks nice on my skin, actually. Yeah, love the color. That's nice. I mean, it's a matte blush, so it's not anything revolutionary. I mainly bought it because I like the shade of it, but I don't know, if you're looking for a more affordable matte blush, you might like this. It looks nice on my skin. All right, I do not have new brow products, so I'm gonna do that off camera quickly, and then we'll move on. All right, filled in my brows, did some eye primer, and now we are gonna move on to the eyes. I caved. I got the Dior Backstage palette. This is the Smoky Essentials palette. I mentioned in my wish list video, I just could not get this palette off my mind. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about it, but ever since I saw this picture online, before I even saw it in person, I don't know. It just spoke to me. It really spoke to me. So I decided to get it when I saw it in person. I still really wanted it. So here we are. Looks like this. I have tried the Dior Backstage eyeshadow formula before. I have the Khaki Neutrals palette from 2022 holiday, and then I've tried the warm neutrals and the cool neutrals that they had before. I don't think they have those anymore, but this is what it looks like, and I don't know. I just absolutely love these colors. I love these kind of mauve-y, purple tones. You have some just basic neutrals, and then you have the black and this kind of metallic smoky gray color. I will insert swatches here so you can see them, but let's just get this on my eyes. I don't know what I want to do. All right, let's see. I'm gonna start with this shade here. It's kind of an ivory color, a little bit pinky, I guess, kind of a rosy ivory shade. And I am gonna apply this all over, so on my lid and all the way up to my brow. I did apply my Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer, so this will just kind of set it in place. This is very similar to my skin tone, so definitely not going to see a ton. So this is the shade Beige, and it says it's a shimmer shade on the back. So it definitely has a little bit of shimmer in it, but it's not glittery. It's more of like a soft satin shimmer. But that's just a really light kind of all over shadow color. I'm gonna switch to a 212 from BK Beauty, and I'm gonna go into this shade here, which is called Soft Rose. Really pretty. It's kind of a nude, I guess like a light pinky nude. And I'm gonna apply this in my crease. Yep, love that shade. Love it. It's definitely a little bit rosy, but it's not pink. You know what I mean? It just has like a rosier undertone. I'm just kind of applying this in the crease and then kind of bringing it down in this outer corner. But yeah, okay, that color I love. And this shade is described as a satin finish, and I would agree. It's applying very nicely, really smooth. I've always liked the Dior Backstage formula. I'm assuming they have reformulated this slightly since the previous palettes that I've tried, but it does seem to be applying really nicely. All right, now I'm gonna go with an E42 from Sigma, and I'm gonna use this middle shade, which is called Soft Taupe. And this one is also described as a shimmer, but I am actually gonna apply this in the outer corner, but I'm gonna kind of bring it in a little bit to the lash line. It's not a super dark shade, so I'm not gonna get like a ton of color payoff from this. Adding a little bit more. That is really pretty. Really, really pretty. Going back in with the 212, I'm just gonna blend a little bit. Okay. That's really nice. Smoky, but still like daytime appropriate, you know? That was kind of interesting to me about this palette, is that they call it Smoky Essentials, because it doesn't look super smoky to me in the pan. I know it has the black and it has this like kind of navy metallic shade, but it's not super smoky looking to me. But like even all these shades that we've applied so far give like a smoky effect without being like an intense black smoky eye. You know what I mean? Which I love. Love that. I think also, I bet that shade we just applied, this deep taupe shade, but that would be really pretty all over. Like as a one and done, like smoky look. I bet that would be really pretty. All right, so what should we do now? I really want to use this shade here, this gold. This one is called Light Sand. Maybe I will, ooh yeah, that color is pretty too. So it looks like that. It's a gold, but it's kind of like a, I don't know, like an antique gold. It's not like a bright gold. Okay, yeah, that is absolutely beautiful. Love that. Is this a shimmer? Okay, this one says it's a metal shade. I'm not sure where they're getting that because it's not, I mean, it's not super shimmery. You don't get a lot of that wet kind of eye look with this. It's more of just a straight metallic. So I don't know where they're getting the metal. Doesn't look that different to me from the shimmer shades, but it is pretty. That would also be pretty as a one and done shadow, I bet. Okay, I should probably stop here to be honest, but I really want to use this metallic shade. This one is called Smoky Wood. It's kind of a gray, kind of a like navy metallic color, but I just really want to use a little bit of this. So maybe we'll do this as like liner. So I'm using the N12 from BK Beauty. This is one of the Nikki LaRose brushes. And I'm just gonna kind of tap this along the outer half of my lash line. I bet this is another shade that would be really pretty as like a one and done, really smoky, kind of navy eye look. I don't know, maybe we'll do that sometime. Because this shade is very pretty. All right, I'm gonna use my blending brush again and just kind of go over it just to kind of diffuse everything, but I love that. So we did not use the bottom row, which has the black and the purple shade. So this kind of rosy color here, and then this darker kind of eggplant color. I love how this looks how it is. So I'm not going to use those today, but we'll use this palette again because I really like it. So I'm going to take this shade here on a smaller brush. And I'm going to put that on my lower lash line. All right, and then I'm going to take just a little bit of this middle shade, the soft taupe. And I'm gonna put this on just the outer half. We have also no fallout from this palette, which is amazing. Okay, I'm actually taking that navy shade. I don't know if it's navy, but it looks navy to me. And I'm putting it even closer to the outer corner of my lower lash line, like not much at all, just basically to kind of connect it where we applied that shade on the top lash line. Okay, I am gonna go ahead and do mascara and then I'll come back and we'll finish up. I don't have a new mascara to try, so I'm just gonna do that quickly and I will be back. All right, before we move on to the lips, I'm gonna take a little bit of this light shade. I kind of forgot this was here. Kind of a light white creamy shade, and I'm just gonna apply this in my inner corner. Oh, that's a very bright shade. Yeah, that's super brightening. You could also use that under like your brow, like here. It's a nice color though. Really handy to have in a palette like this. Moving on to the last few products. The first thing, this is the last product from Sephora. I did get one of the Makeup by Mario lipsticks. These are the new Super Satin lipsticks. But I will say I had the hardest time picking the shade. in this because the shades, the whole shade range is so pretty. I really had a hard time with this. I did end up going with Bronx Baby, but honestly, there were several that I wanted, but I figured I would just start with one and see what I think. But I mean, this color is just beautiful. Look at that. Such a pretty, kind of warm, nudie pink, but not too warm. This formula feels very opaque, very kind of thick in a good way, like thick and hydrating. I don't know. I'm excited to try this though. Also love this packaging. It's very sleek, magnetic. I love it. But from Ulta, I also got some lip products, and these were not on my wish list. These were, one was a little bit impulsive, but not really, because I've kind of thought about purchasing both of these things. But I did get a lip liner. I got a Chanel lip liner in the shade Rose Natural. I mentioned in my wish list video I want to try more from Chanel this year, and I did not get anything else from Chanel during this trip, but I am planning to still do that video. This was one of the only things I could decide on like right then. So I didn't get anything else from Chanel. I'm still kind of deciding what I want. But I did get this lip liner because the shade just looked like perfection to me. So that's it there. It's the type of shade that I always love, which is kind of a nude, but a rosier nude. I love it. Kind of reminds me of Structure from Pat McGrath, which is one of my favorites. And I do not own a Chanel lip product until now. So I had that. And then the last thing that I did get is this. And this has been on my loves list for a very long time. I didn't talk about this in my wish list video, but Martina Lily, my friend here on YouTube, I know a lot of you love and watch her, but I know she loves this lipstick from Natasha Denona. It's the My Dream lipstick in the shade Natasha. And I've thought about purchasing this a bunch of times before, and you're gonna laugh at me when you see this because it is very similar now that I look at it to that Makeup by Mario lipstick, but that's okay. So this is the Natasha lipstick and this is the Mario. So they're definitely similar. The Natasha, I think, is a little bit cooler. The Mario shade's a little bit warmer, but I would say the tone of lipstick is pretty similar. Let's start with the lip liner. This is the shade Rose Natural. Yeah, I love shades like this. Very creamy formula for sure. I will say when I was in store, I tested this lip liner on my hand and I never ended up like wiping it off or anything, and it stayed on my hand all day, like into the night. I was getting in the shower that night and I still had that lip liner swatch on my hand. It was very long lasting. So I'm hoping this is going to be a long lasting lip liner formula. Feel like it is, but love the shade. Such a Blair liner shade. Okay, so both of these lipsticks are very similar, but we're just gonna try both. So I'm gonna go into the Mario one first in Bronx Baby. This lipstick kind of has a little bit of a smell. I really like the smell though. Kind of smells like Play-Doh to me. I think it's supposed to be vanilla maybe. So creamy though. Very, very opaque. A lot of pigment. This is the type of lipstick formula that I prefer. I don't mind a matte formula, but I do like something with a little bit more hydration to it if I were choosing. Yeah, that looks really pretty. Really, really pretty. Now I'm kind of wishing I got one of the lighter shades too, because I feel like this shade would also be pretty with a little bit of one of the lighter ones like Flat Iron or South Shore in the center maybe. But love the shade, very comfortable, no complaints, no complaints. Okay, but I want to try on the other one, so hold on. I don't think it's gonna look that different, but I want to try it. I don't know if we got everything off, but that's okay. Let's try this one. Yeah, very similar. This one is just a little less warm, a little bit more cool, but formula feels very similar. I think this one feels a little bit thinner, not quite as thick feeling on the lips as the Mario, but they feel very similar. All right, that is everything that I got from Sephora and Ulta. Let's go back through what we tried and I'll give you my thoughts to kind of close out the video. The new Makeup Forever foundation. Okay, I think this looks absolutely gorgeous. I am not kidding. I think it looks so pretty, so smooth, natural, hydrated, but not in a greasy or oily way. Shade match is great. It's not emphasizing anything on my face. I mean, it looks beautiful. I think we'll see how it wears. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this wears well, because I think this is absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. I'm so glad that I decided to try this. I just hope it wears well, but very impressed with this from Makeup Forever. The concealer, which is here, the La Mercier concealer, I like this. Again, we'll see how it wears. I do have just a little bit of creasing like right here, really close to my lash line, which is not that unusual. I didn't set my whole under eye. I set a little bit like right here in this very inner corner, but I didn't take the powder all the way across. So typically with formulas like this, the very liquidy, fluid formulas tend to want to crease a little bit. So I'm not shocked by that, but we'll see how it wears. Definitely not a ton of coverage with this concealer, but it gives decent coverage, just not a ton. I would say like a light medium, maybe medium, depending on how much you're applying. I am liking it so far, but I want to wear it, see how it wears today. I think I'm more excited about the foundation, but I do think the concealer is nice. The blush from Sephora, this is nice. I mean, it's nothing revolutionary. It's a matte blush, so I have a lot of matte blushes. Like I said earlier, mainly bought this for the shade. I love this light kind of nudie pink. I feel like this will go well with a lot of my cream and liquid blushes as like a topper. And it's nice. I mean, it's a matte blush, so nothing to really say about it, but it applied well. It's a pretty color. I like it. These are very affordable from Sephora collection. Now, the eyeshadow palette. You guys, I am so happy that I bought this. I was very close to putting this back just because I don't wear eyeshadow. That's not really my thing in terms of makeup. My favorite things are blushes, concealers, and foundations and color correctors. But I don't know, like I said, something about this palette just really spoke to me. The colors in here, I don't feel like I have this palette already. Yes, it's neutral. I have a lot of neutrals in my collection, but I like that this is a little bit different. Like this eye look is much smokier than I typically do. I like that you get a variety in terms of intensity in here. So you get this top shade or this top row here, very light, very everyday kind of shades. Then you get a little bit darker in the middle row, so you can add a little bit more if you want to, you know, amp it up a little bit. And then you have the darker shades, the black on the bottom row. I really love this palette and I love how the eye look turned out. Very easy to use. I would say if you like very intense pigment in your shadows and you like something very bold, I don't think this is the palette for you. I don't think this is the formula for you. These are very soft, subtle shades. And something else to note about this palette is you don't get any of that like wet effect looking shadows in here. So none of the very glittery or just that kind of shiny, wet look from this palette. These are all very much, in my opinion, more of like a satin metallic formula. Some of them are a bit more metallic than others, but overall, I would say most of the finishes in here are about the same. I know they say they're different on the back, like all of the bottom shades, which these are the 3 we didn't try, but these 3 here, they say are matte. The other ones are a mixture of satin, shimmer, and this one here that they say is a metal shade, but I don't know. You're not going to get a very intense glittery eye with this is what I'm trying to say, but I'm very happy with this. We will use this again in an upcoming video and we'll use these bottom shades here, but I like this. I think you have a lot of one and done shadows in here, which I really like, and I'm happy with this. Very happy with this. And then the lip products. The lip liner, love the shade. That's why I bought it, because I knew as soon as I swatched it, I knew it was the kind of shade that I love. It's very creamy. I do think it's going to be long lasting, but I'll wear it today and let you know. But it feels very nice, very creamy, and I'm excited about it. I don't think I said this earlier, but it does have a little brush on the end as well. Kind of reminds me of the Dior lip liners, which I love, but I'm very happy with this. And then the 2 lipsticks, I love them both. I probably should have gotten a different shade in the Mario lipstick because it's so similar to the Natasha, but I bought the Mario lipstick first and then I bought the Natasha one at Ulta. I didn't really think about the fact that they might be similar shades when I bought the Natasha one, but they're both nice, very similar shades. This one is cooler. The Mario is warmer. This one is just a little bit thinner feeling on the lips than the Mario, but they both have that very hydrating, moisturizing kind of look on the lips. So yeah, I would definitely get another shade of the Mario, to be honest. I'm actually gonna apply a little bit of the Mario on top, but I love this formula, and yeah, I could definitely see myself buying more of these for sure. So I think is that everything we tried? Yeah, that's everything. I am gonna wear this makeup today. I'm not gonna come back and do check-ins because I have a lot of other stuff I have to do today, a lot of editing, a lot of other things. I don't think I'm gonna have time to do that, but I will definitely take note at the end of the day of how everything is worn, and I will leave the update in the description box for you. But overall, I'm very excited about the things that I bought. I think this was a really good group of things that I picked. I'm really proud of myself. I didn't go super, super overboard here. And I had gift cards for all of this, which is really nice. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you've tried any of these things. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to check the description box if you want to know my updated thoughts at the end of the day, mainly on the foundation and the concealer. That will be in the description box. I will have everything that I used today linked for you in the description box as well. I do use affiliate links that support this channel if you shop through them. I hope you'll subscribe and follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1. And I will see you next time. Remember, simply be you. Bye.